Your race plan is ready, so let's explore it together and see what your race day could actually look like. We'll start with the map. You can explore your entire race course in 3D. On the right, use the map controls to move around the course, change the viewing angle, tilt the map, center the route, and zoom in or out. Spend some time exploring it. A 3D view gives you a much better sense of the course than distance and elevation numbers alone. You'll start to see where the major climbs begin, how long the descents really are, and how the different parts of the course connect with the official aid stations throughout the race. On the left, you'll find the main information about your race. Right now, we're looking at the overall race plan. Later, when we open a specific segment, this area will show the information for that segment instead. Let's begin with your estimated finish time. RacePace calculates this based on your current fitness, using the training data from your connected watch and your historical race results taken from ITRA, together with the distance, elevation, terrain, and other characteristics of your race course. You'll see 3 possible race day scenarios: a good day, a solid day, and a rough day. Think of these as 3 realistic ways your race could unfold. On a good day, everything is working in your favour. You feel strong, the conditions are good, and you're able to execute the race well. The solid day scenario is your most realistic baseline. This is the scenario I recommend using as the foundation of your race plan. The rough day scenario shows you what the race could look like if the weather is harder than expected, your stomach isn't cooperating, your legs don't feel great, or you simply need to slow down. This is also where you can edit your overall pacing plan and later segment specific times. You can adjust your expected moving time, the total time you plan to spend at aid stations, or your overall elapsed time. Moving time is the time you expect to spend progressing along the course. Refueling time includes the time you expect to spend at the aid stations. Elapsed time combines both. This is your total race time from the start line to the finish line. You can also adjust your average pace directly. Let's say I want to change my expected finish time. I can make the change only to the solid day scenario, or I can update all 3 scenarios proportionally. If I update all scenarios, RacePace will adjust the good, solid, and rough day plans together, keeping the relationship between them realistic. Once I'm happy with the change, I'll save it and give RacePace a moment to recalculate the plan. Now let's look at the cutoff times. These are the official cutoffs published by the race organizer. If a cutoff is missing, you can add it. If the organizer changes a cutoff, you can edit it directly in your plan. For every cutoff, you'll see the official cutoff time, your estimated arrival time, and the buffer you're expected to have. You can also see which aid station the cutoff applies to. In this plan, everything is green, which means the runner is expected to arrive ahead of every cutoff. Do not check only the final cutoff. Look at your buffer throughout the entire race. If your buffer becomes smaller as the race progresses, you need to know that before race day. That will help you understand which sections of the course are critical and where you cannot afford to lose too much time. Below the cutoff information, you'll find an overview of the aid stations and the services available throughout the race. Depending on the event, this may include shuttle buses, medical assistance, toilets, crew assistance, bag drop, rest areas, warm food, and other services. Review this before race day, especially if you're relying on your crew or planning to collect specific equipment somewhere along the course. Weather plays a big role in trail races. It can affect your pace on different sections of the course, your gear choices, and how much water and fuel you'll need. Your weather forecast becomes available 2 weeks before the race. Until then, you can use historical weather data to get a general idea of the conditions you might face. Once the forecast is available, you'll see the expected conditions hour by hour based on where you're projected to be along the course at that time. You'll also see how those conditions may affect your pacing and gear decisions. Check the forecast when you start packing, and then check it again the day before the race. Mountain weather can change quickly, so always make your final decisions using the latest available forecast. Now let's move down to the elevation profile. This is where you can really start learning your race course. The bar below the map allows you to explore the full elevation profile and move between the different sections of the race. You can choose which information you want to display, including aid stations, waypoints, cutoffs, daylight, darkness, and other course details. You can also see the sunrise and sunset times, so you know which parts of the race you are expected to complete in the dark. Use this information when planning your headlamp, spare batteries, clothing, and equipment. Every aid station is marked on the elevation profile. When you hover over an aid station icon, you'll see the services and the food and drinks the organizer expects to provide there. Use this information to build your nutrition and hydration strategy, but do not rely completely on the aid stations. Carry the products you have trained with and know work for you. The organizer's offering can change, a product may run out, or you may arrive and discover that your stomach does not want any of it. The aid station information helps you decide what to carry from the start, where you can refill, and what you may be able to collect along the way. Now let's look at the segment navigation. You can move between segments using the navigation bar or by clicking directly on a section of the elevation profile. Let's open this segment and look at it more closely. On the left, I can now see the information for segment 4, including the expected time for each of my 3 race day scenarios. Let's say I know I can do this segment faster and I only want to stop at the aid stations to refill my flasks. I'll save the changes and RacePace will update my estimated arrival time and recalculate the rest of the plan. You can do this for every segment. This gives you control over where you plan to move faster, where you need to be more conservative, and how much time you realistically expect to spend at every aid station. Do not remove all your stopping time just to create a faster finish time. A few minutes at one aid station may not sound significant, but over a long race, those stops add up quickly. Your race plan needs to represent what you are realistically going to do, not only the finish time you would like to see. If you usually need 5 or 10 minutes to refill your flasks, eat, use the toilet, and organize your equipment, include that time in the plan. You can also create your own segments based on the elevation profile. When I switch on the waypoint view, I can see the existing waypoints along the course that were uploaded by RacePace or set by the race organizer. I can also add a new waypoint anywhere I want. Let's say I want to split this section because there is a change in the elevation here. I'll select the location, call it downhill segment, choose the waypoint type and add it to my plan. RacePace will divide the course at this point and recalculate the timing and pace for the affected segments. Use custom waypoints when something meaningful changes. For example, one official segment may begin with a runnable climb, but become much steeper and more technical later. Instead of treating the entire section as one long segment, divide it at the point where the terrain changes. You can also add a waypoint where a long climb begins, where you expect to enter the darkness, where you plan to eat something specific, or at a location your crew needs to know about. You do not need to create dozens of tiny segments. Create a new segment when the gradient, terrain, expected effort, or your strategy changes in a meaningful way. The goal is to make the plan easier to understand, not more complicated. If I change my mind, I can return to this view and delete any waypoint or segment I added. I can also divide the course into quick splits or hide the official aid stations and waypoints if I want a cleaner view. Once I'm happy with the segmentation, I'll click Done. Above the elevation profile, I can now see my estimated arrival time at every aid station and waypoint. RacePace shows me both the expected time of day and how long I should have been racing by that point. If I want to change one of my estimated arrival times, I can open the relevant segment and edit its details. Now let's return to the map and look at the overlays. The terrain overlay shows you what the course surface is made of and where the different terrain types appear along the route. Together with the terrain card, it helps you understand which sections are technical, which follow natural trails, and exactly where you can expect each type of terrain during the race. Pay attention to this. 2 segments can have a similar distance and elevation but require completely different amounts of time. A smooth, runnable trail and a steep, technical trail should not be approached with the same pacing expectations. Use the terrain information together with the elevation profile. This gives you a much more complete understanding of what each section will demand from you. Your pacing plan is ready. You have several ways to export it. First, you can export the route to your watch as a GPX file, including the aid stations and waypoints from your plan. This gives you the race route together with the important locations you selected during your planning. You can also create a race day cheat sheet. Start by choosing the scenario you want to use. Then decide whether you want to include all the waypoints and aid stations or only the aid stations. You can also choose which information should appear on the cheat sheet. For this example, I'm going to include everything. I'll export the cheat sheet as a PNG and send it to my crew, so they know where and when to expect me throughout the race. I can also save it to my phone or print a small version and carry it with me. Keep your race day version simple. Include the information you will actually need when you're tired. Finally, you can export the complete race table. Choose the information that is important to you and then export it as a CSV file or as a PNG. The CSV file can be opened in Excel, where you can make additional edits or add your own notes. Before we finish the pacing section, there is one more important feature to understand. Every change you make to your plan can be reviewed and managed from here. This includes pacing adjustments, edited segments, and any new waypoints you added. And that is your pacing plan. Before race day, make sure you understand your 3 scenarios, your cutoff buffers, the sections where the terrain changes, and when you expect to reach each aid station. Know where you plan to move efficiently, where you need to stay patient, and how much time you realistically expect to spend at each stop. You do not need to memorize every number. You need to understand how your race is expected to unfold and where you may need to adjust. Your race probably won't go exactly according to plan, and that is completely normal. The purpose of planning is not to predict every moment of your race. It is to give you the knowledge and confidence to recognize what is happening, make smart decisions, and keep moving towards the finish line.